Okay, so today we're going to dive into something pretty important and frankly a bit sobering. It's about the financial realities that often hide behind those huge sports contracts.
Yeah, and we're focusing this through the lens of Arthur Jones, the former NFL defensive tackle, Super Bowl champ, who sadly passed away recently at just 39.
Such a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And while people are remembering his career, his impact,
Hmm.
inevitably the conversation turns to, well, his finances, his net worth.
Exactly. And our goal here really is to give you a shortcut. We want to unpack why an NFL player's actual net worth often ends up being way, way lower than the big contract numbers you see in the headlines. It's a crucial piece of understanding sports economics.
For sure. And Jones definitely had those headline moments. 7 years in the league, that Super Bowl ring with Baltimore back in 2012.
Right.
And of course, part of that incredible Jones family legacy, brother to John and Chandler, just amazing athletes.
Absolutely.
So let's get into the core of it, the money. That big free agent deal he signed with the Colts back in 2014. 5 years, $33 million reported.
Yep.
Sounds like life-changing money, set for generations. But that big number,
Yeah.
it's just a starting point, isn't it? It's not the whole story.
Not at all. That's probably the biggest misconception you see out there. That $33 million, that was the maximum possible value. A huge chunk of that wasn't guaranteed money.
Okay, so guaranteed is the key word here.
It's everything. Guaranteed money is what the team has to pay pretty much no matter what injury, getting cut, performance. The rest, that other chunk of the $33 million for Jones, was tied up in things like roster bonuses, playing time incentives, stuff like that.
And his time with the Colts, it didn't quite go as planned, did it?
No, unfortunately not. He had some significant injury issues, and there was a suspension, too.
Right, I remember that.
And when a player isn't available, isn't producing, especially when a lot of their contract isn't guaranteed, well, teams often cut their losses.
Which is what happened.
Exactly. The Colts released him in March 2017, so that $33 million figure, he never got close to earning that full amount, not even really in the ballpark.
Okay, so even if he didn't get the full $33 million from the Colts deal, looking at his whole career, earnings, Ravens, Colts, a stint with Washington too, what are we actually talking about in terms of total cash received?
If you add it all up, the estimates suggest his total career cash earnings, like the gross amount deposited over those 7 seasons, was probably somewhere just north of $20 million.
Okay, $20 million plus. Still, I mean, that's a massive amount of money earned.
It absolutely is. A huge gross income.
But here's where it gets really interesting, right? That gross number shrinks.
Yeah.
Fast. We talk about deductions, taxes, agent fees. How much are we realistically talking about coming off that $20 million before he even sees it?
Yeah, this is the part that often blows people's minds. You're looking at easily 45% to 55% of that gross income just gone, vanish before it hits the main bank account.
45 to 55%. Wow. How's it get that high? It's not just regular income tax, is it?
No, not even close. You've got the federal income tax, of course.
Yeah.
But then you have state income taxes. And for athletes, it's brutal because of something called the jock tax.
The jock tax. Explain that.
Basically, players owe income tax, not just in the state where they live or where their team is based, but in pretty much every single state and sometimes city where they play a game during the year.
So if you play road games in, say, 8 different states,
you're filing tax returns and paying income tax in all those places based on the portion of your salary earned while you were physically working there. It's incredibly complex and it adds up significantly.
Okay, that makes sense why the tax burden is so much higher than for, a typical high earner who works in one state.
Precisely. And that's before other deductions. You've got mandatory union dues for the NFL Players Association.
Right.
And then agent fees. Most agents take somewhere between 3% and 5% of the contract value.
Okay, so let's recap. Federal tax, multiple state taxes via the jock tax, union dues, agent fees. You apply all that to the $20-ish million gross?
And the take-home number drops dramatically. Then you have to factor in, life. Living expenses over 7 years, supporting family, maybe some investments, hopefully smart ones.
So when you put all that together, what's a realistic, kind of informed estimate for Arthur Jones's actual net worth at the time of his passing?
Based on those career earnings, the heavy deductions, and typical expenditures, a conservative estimate would likely place his net worth somewhere in the mid-single-digit millions, maybe in the range of, say, $4 million to $8 million.
$4 to $8 million, okay.
Which, look, is still a very substantial amount of money, let's be clear. But it's a world away from the $33 million contract headline or even the $20 million gross earnings figure.
Yeah, and it really highlights why those online net worth websites can be so incredibly misleading, right? Unless they have verified financial documents, which they almost never do.
Exactly. Always be skeptical of those quick Google search results for net worth. They rarely capture this kind of reality.
It gives us a much clearer and, frankly, more respectful picture. But, shifting away from just the numbers for a second, his legacy is obviously so much more than a balance sheet.
Oh, absolutely.
The Ravens put out a statement calling him energetic, kind, and family first. You hear stories about his presence in the locker room, his personality. That's the stuff that really matters.
That's a human element, right? His impact on teammates, his community involvement, the person he was. The contracts are temporary, but that kind of impact is lasting. And his story, financially, it serves as a really important lesson in critical thinking.
How so?
It just reminds you to always look past the surface number. Always ask, what are the deductions? What's guaranteed? What are the hidden factors? Don't just take the headline at face value.
So wrapping this up, what's the key takeaway for you listening to this?
Yeah.
It's really getting a grounded, transparent look at the actual economics of professional sports.
Yeah, understanding that massive gap between the number announced and the money players actually have to manage, invest, and live on.
It's a big difference.
It really is. And it leads to a final thought, something for you to maybe mull over. When you consider these huge tax burdens, the contract uncertainty, the pressure, yeah, what kind of unexpected financial challenges or pressures do you think former athletes might face down the road, even the ones who earn substantial money during their careers? That gap we talked about, it can create some really profound issues later in life.